Hello viewers. In the last short video, we started discussing about limit state of collapse flexion. We will take that discussion forward in this video. So let us begin by considering a prismatic, simply supported beam of rectangular cross section having width B and overall depth capital D. What do I mean by prismatic beam? Prismatic beam means shape and size of the cross section does not change along the length of the member. So let us consider this prismatic beam which has rectangular cross section and has width B and overall depth D. Let us say this is reinforced concrete beam, so it has steel, longitudinal steel provided at the bottom, and it is loaded upon by an point load at midspan. Therefore, this distance is L by 2. This distance is also L by 2. Let us quickly draw its bending moment diagram. So its bending moment diagram is going to look like a triangle with maximum bending moment occurring just below the point load, and its magnitude is going to be PL by 4. It is going to be sagging in the nature, therefore it is going to be positive. Under this load, the beam is going to bend in this fashion. So therefore it is going to have compression on top side and tension near the bottom face. So you can see the longitudinal steel is provided to cater for the tension on the bottom side. As in the previous video we discussed, concrete doesn't have any tensile strength. Of course, this is the assumption. And why should we believe in this assumption? We will discuss that little later. Now, let me draw the cross section of beam in a zoomed fashion. So this is width B. This is overall depth capital D. So overall depth capital D. And let us say these longitudinal bars, they will be seen something like this in cross-sectional view. So I am collectively going to call these bars as area of steel AS provided on tension side of bending. So I call it as AST, area of steel provided on tension side of bending. We will now define certain terminologies. As this beam is sagging, therefore all the portion of this beam above the neutral axis is going to be under compression, and all the portion of the beam below neutral axis is going to be in tension. The distance of CG of AST, to be very precise, is centroid of AST. So if I locate the centroid of AST, then the distance of this centroid of AST from extreme compression fiber, this distance by definition is denoted by notation small d, and we call this small d as effective depth. Effective depth. Then distance of centroid of this AST from extreme tension fiber, this is called as effective cover. So D dash here is called as effective cover to the tension reinforcement. Effective cover to the tension reinforcement. So these are the two terminologies that we have defined now: effective depth and effective cover. So once we have defined capital D, that is overall depth, small d, that is effective depth, and d dash, that is effective cover. Now let us try and ask ourselves a question. How does the bending strain distribution diagram look like at failure for this beam? That will depend upon how much area of steel are you providing. So let us make three cases. Case number one, where you are providing large area of steel. Case number two, where you are providing medium area of steel. And case number three, where you are providing very small area of steel. Mind you, these words large, medium and small are qualitative in nature, but what do we mean by these words will be clear in a while. So let us say we are providing very large amount of area of steel and we are asking ourselves a question: as I go on increasing this P at failure, how does the bending strain distribution diagram for a cross section which carries maximum bending moment PL by 4 looks like? So we are trying to draw bending strain distribution diagram at failure. Area of steel is large, so it happens so that concrete on extreme compression fiber, concrete at extreme compression fiber level reaches to its ultimate strength 0.0035, but the steel at that time will have the value of strain less than yield strain of the steel. So therefore strain in steel epsilon s is however less than yield strain of the steel. So we have already discussed what is yield strain of a steel for Fe 415 and Fe 500. That value is 0.002 plus Fy upon 1.15 Es, where Es is the modulus of elasticity of steel, Fy is the yield stress. You can look at the roots of this expression in this video. So we have provided area of steel on tension side to such a large extent that even before the steel starts yielding, the extreme compression fibers of concrete would have reached the ultimate compressive strain of concrete. So how do I draw the bending strain distribution diagram? We also know that bending strain distribution diagram of this section is going to remain linear till failure, because it has been experimentally validated that for the beams with length by depth ratio greater than 6, Euler-Bernoulli beam theory is applicable and plane sections before bending remain plane after bending till failure, and therefore bending strain distribution diagram is going to be linear. So this is the strain at the level of tension steel, which is less than yield strain. However, the concrete on extreme compression fibers have reached the value of strain is equal to failure strain of concrete. So strain in concrete here is 0.0035, and therefore if I join these two locations by a straight line, this is the bending strain distribution diagram at failure for a cross section which has large value of area of steel provided. Now, as you can see, this is the location where bending strain is 0. Therefore, this is the location of neutral axis at the time of failure. So this is not the elastic neutral axis. This is the location of neutral axis at the time of failure. You can see clearly by looking at this bending strain distribution diagram that in this case, extreme compression fibers reach to their ultimate compressive strain prior to the steel reaching to its yield strain, and therefore the failure occurs due to crushing of extreme compression fiber concrete. Now let us look at the another case where we are going to provide medium area of steel. That means the area of steel will be less than area of steel for the case number 1. In this case, it so happens that the steel quantity is proportioned in such a way that when extreme compression fibers reach to the ultimate compressive strain of concrete, that is 0.0035, at that very time or at that very instant, the steel also reaches to its yield strain. So strain here becomes equal to yield strain. Yield strain is 0.002 plus Fy upon 1.15 ES. If I join these 2 points by a straight line, then I am going to get the bending strain distribution diagram for section with medium area of steel at failure. Mind you, this is the bending strain distribution diagram drawn at failure, and this is the location of neutral axis. Now, as you can observe, the value of extreme compression strain is same in first 2 cases, but the strain in steel is more in second case than in first case. Therefore, it is quite obvious that the neutral axis at failure in second case will be above the neutral axis at failure for the first case. Now let us look at the third possibility. What is the third possibility? We are providing area of steel even less than this, so very small area of steel. In that case, when steel on tension side reaches to its yield strain, epsilon s reaches to its yield strain, at that time extreme compression fibers would not have yet reached the ultimate strain in uniaxial compression for concrete. So this strain epsilon c will be less than 0.0035. So here, as you can observe, in comparison to the second case, strain in steel is same, but strain in concrete is less than 0.0035, and therefore neutral axis at failure for this case will shift above the neutral axis for second case of medium steel. I hope you are understanding what I am trying to say. So therefore, as I go on reducing the area of steel, the possibility of steel reaching yield strain prior to extreme compression fibers reach the ultimate compressive strain of concrete increases. Now let us ask ourselves a question. Which of these sections is beneficial? So if you look at the ultimate compressive strain of concrete in uniaxial compression, I will call it as epsilon Cu, is 0.0035. We have discussed this in this video. And ultimate strain of steel, so I will call that as epsilon Su, epsilon Su, epsilon Su, that value is 0.14 to 0.23. So we know clearly that steel is the material that takes more strain than steel is the material which is more ductile than the concrete. Now, knowing this fact, now let us look at the failure in first case where you are providing large AST. When you are providing large AST, the concrete is the one which fails prior to the failure of steel, and therefore as it takes lower value of ultimate strain, this failure is going to be sudden or brittle in nature. Just 2 minutes before, the beam was not showing any sign of failure, and suddenly it breaks into two pieces due to crushing of concrete on compression side. Now let us look at the failure of beam with medium area of steel. So here, the moment extreme compression fiber reach to ultimate compressive strain of concrete, at the same time steel starts yielding. Now steel can go on taking strain even beyond yielding to substantial extent up to 0.14 to 0.13, but it cannot do so because the extreme compression fibers have reached the ultimate strain of concrete. Therefore, even this section fails in a sudden way. Whereas if you look at the third cross section, the steel has reached to its yield strain, but the concrete is well below its ultimate compressive strain, and therefore we have one step ahead. The steel now will start yielding, its strain will start increasing, and till the time it reaches to 0.14 to 0.23, there is no problem at all. 0.23, there is no problem at all. It is not going to give away. Therefore, steel will keep on yielding, its strain will go on increasing without increase in stress. And finally, this value of compressive strain on extreme compression fibers will reach 0.0035, and this strain will be greater than yield strain but less than ultimate strain. At that time, the failure is going to occur. So here also, the failure occurs due to the crushing of extreme compression fibers concrete, but from this stage to this stage, the steel is yielding, so you will see enough cracks and you will get the warning of the failure. So this failure, where you are providing small amount of AST, is ductile in nature. That means it gives you the warning of failure, because from this stage to this stage steel goes on yielding, and therefore you will see large deformations, cracks will be produced. And then when the compressive strain, extreme compression strain, reaches to value of 0.0035, then and then only the failure is going to occur. So therefore this kind of failure is going to be ductile with warnings. So we will always prefer to design beam of this fashion. So now let us define these three types of beams, or these three types of sections. The first section, where you are providing large AST, where the concrete reaches to its crushing strain prior to steel reaching its yield strain, is called as over reinforced section. Over reinforced section. This section, where the concrete on extreme compression side reaches to its ultimate strain, at the same time when steel starts yielding, or steel reaches to its ultimate tensile yield, reaches to its yield tensile strength. Now for this section, when the extreme compression fibers reach to the ultimate value of strain, that is 0.0035, at the same time the steel on tension side also reaches to yield strain, this section is called as balanced section. Balanced section. Whereas this section, where when the steel has reached the value of yield strain, the extreme compression fibers are well below the ultimate compressive strain of concrete, that is 0.0035. This section is called as under reinforced section. Under reinforced section. So Indian Standard Core 456 Reinforced Concrete Design Code does not allow you to design the sections as balanced or over reinforced sections, because these sections exhibit brittle failure of concrete and therefore you won't get any warning of the failure. Core suggests you to restrict yourself to under reinforced sections, so you can provide area of steel in such a fashion that steel starts yielding first and then the extreme compression fibers reach the ultimate compressive strain of concrete, that is 0.0035. So if the code is going to allow only under reinforced section, why do we worry about defining over reinforced and balanced sections? Because you can see there are several structures, existing structures, which have been designed prior to the emergence of limit state method of design. They have been designed by working stress methods. So so they may be under reinforced as far as working stress method is concerned, but they may be over reinforced as far as limit state design is concerned, and therefore we will have to do something about these sections. So we define over reinforced sections as well. Balance section acts as a boundary between over reinforced and under reinforced sections. So let us summarize. We have today discussed three possible failures of a reinforced concrete beam. One type of failure is called as failure of a over reinforced section, where extreme compression fibers reach to ultimate strain in uniaxial compression of concrete, that is 0.0035, prior to the steel on tension side reaches its yield strain. The next section is balance section. In this, extreme compression fibers reach to the ultimate compressive strain of concrete 0.0035 simultaneously with steel on tension side reaching its yield strain. And the third section that is defined, or third type of failure that is defined, is for under reinforced section, where steel on tension side reaches its yield strain prior to extreme compression fibers reach the ultimate compressive strain of concrete, that is 0.0035. Summary point number 2. From over reinforced section to under reinforced section, the amount of area of steel goes on decreasing for a cross section of given dimensions B cross D. Summary point 3. Balance section is defined as bifurcator between over reinforced section and under reinforced section. So with this, we will close today's discussion. In the next class, or in the next short video, we are going to draw bending stress distribution diagrams for over reinforced, balanced and under reinforced section, and we are going to derive the expressions for various parameters of balance section. So let us stop here today. Thank you.